It would have been great for me to have somebody to sit down like this and kind of like just talk to me, be a friend, be someone to encourage me, because I was in tears just about every other day back in the 90s. I was so frustrated. I used to work, and I'm thinking about it right now as I'm driving. On Saturdays, I would get up real early, and I used to do a vending route for a guy out in Owings Mills, Maryland. And I didn't make very much money, and you've all heard this story before, but I had to go service a nursing home on, I can't remember the name of the road. It'll come to me. Fayette Street, downtown in Baltimore. Not a really good neighborhood, and I was always wondering if I was going to get robbed, but I never did. But I spent 5 hours of my Saturday as a young man, just turning 20 years old, freshly divorced. And I would waste 5 hours of my Saturday servicing one account, and I would hate my life. Like, I hated it. I hated the fact that I knew my friends and my family were home, like you probably are right now. Some of you are probably working, some of you are listening at your job, and you're cheating your boss. But I hated my life on these days. So every Saturday, I go out and I take a drive. Now, I'll cycle through both of my Corvettes because I got to keep them moving and keep the battery life on them because I don't put a lot of miles on them. But I'm thinking out loud like I usually do on Saturdays, where I reflect on when I was a younger man, before I knew what I know now. And I was only making $315 a week. 50 of it was paid in under the table in cash for servicing that Saturday account. It would take me 5 hours to get up, drive out to Owings Mills from where I lived, pick the truck up, load up the things that I need to put in the vending machines and go service it, drive down to Fayette Street, then drive back up to Owings Mills, fuel the truck up, do the whole thing. And the whole time, I'm looking at the clock thinking, I'm never going to be able to see my girlfriend on time. She's going to be upset. You know, the whole thing, every one of you young guys are thinking all the time. That was me. I did the same stuff. But while I was working and while I was driving to and from, I was looking for a way that I could come out of that. And I wanted to start my own vending business. Like, I was going to cutthroat the guy I was working with because he was underpaying me. He took advantage of me because his view was, and this is what happened, I was sitting in the back of the warehouse after one of my route days, and the guy's father, who really owned the business, came in. And real snooty Jewish man. Not that there's anything against Jews or anything like that, but this guy was a hardliner. Just, you know, if you're not Jewish, then you're nobody. And he said, "Where's that young guy? You know, where'd you find him at?" Because I was always wanting to learn how to fix the machines. Like, I wanted to know everything because my intentions were, I'm going to make my own vending business. I didn't want to be an employee. I knew that when I was younger. But I heard him say, "Where'd you get him from?" And he's like, he applied, and he was the one that kept calling wanting the job. So, and he comes, he never misses a day. Never misses a day. He's like, he looks like he's from Essex, Maryland. He goes, he is. He goes, yeah, you got to watch those guys from Essex. I literally wanted to crawl under a rock at that time. And that day struck a fire under my ass. I was like, you son of a bitch. Let me tell you what money making is all about. I'm going to find a way, and I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to show you sons of bitches what real money is. I crept underneath the dock door so that way they wouldn't hear me, because I think at the time Glenn, who was the boss, the manager, the son of the owner, his dad Marty, he said something that day that literally got under my skin, and I was like, who the hell do you think you are? An employer of mine offended me without knowing that he offended me. Obviously, I couldn't quit because I needed the money. But I talked to my uncle, who was a University of Maryland graduate in finance and business management. And I said to him, I said, you know, what would you do if this happened? And I explained what I just told you. And he was like, what did I ask? Like, did you say anything to him? I said, no, I was embarrassed. Like, I mean, I'm from Middle River, which is across the street basically from Essex, which is down the street from Dundalk, Maryland. Okay, and they are like the armpits of Maryland. Okay, as far as like white trash, like that's the areas where you see it from, and I can say that because I came up from it. So a lot of good people live in there, and they still do. But generally, you know, you get the Rough Riders from that area. But my uncle told me, he said, you know, you just got to get yourself a good education and just pursue what you were in school for. I said, I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to do it. When I got out, I couldn't get a job with all the programming. I couldn't do it. I studied COBOL, CICS, Pascal, Basic, C++, and I didn't want to be in the video game making. Like, I didn't want to do that. At the time, the visibility, and I was really wrong, I didn't see that as a industry that would have been growing. And I know this probably has nothing to do with trading, and some of you are like, man, get to the point. The point is you all ask how I think and interpret and how I got to where I am and how do I get through all the struggles. Well, this is one of those struggles that lit a fire under my ass. A boss literally basically said that I was trash. Didn't say the words trash, but that's what it is. So when I talked to my uncle that day when I came home, I told him, I said, Uncle Stan, I'm mad. Like, I'm pissed off at this guy. Like, I want to go back and tell him off, but if I do, he's going to fire me. He's like, well, the best way to live well is, the best revenge is to live well. You just go and do something better for yourself. And then when it's time, leave. But I didn't have an answer for how to do that. Like, I didn't know what it is that I would be doing to make money. Not that I was making a lot of it under them, but I spent an average of 13 hours a day doing that garbage job and listening to his lies saying, I'm going to make you a route manager one day and you're going to be $500 a week. Now, $500 a week back then in 1990, 91? 91. I literally swallowed that hook, line, and sinker thinking $500, that's mad money. Like, that's crazy money back then. $500 is nothing. Like, my stop loss, my stop loss per tick is like that now. So the bottom line is I was pissed off and I wanted to find a way. I wanted to find a way to get out of that situation. And my uncle's advice was go back to school and pursue more of the languages that are available today. Now, this is a guy who I love. He was a father figure in a period of my time of growing up. He let me move into his home, and they treated me very good. And believe in yourself, because I'm telling you right now, going to college is the biggest fucking scam you'll ever do. And I don't care if you make money because you went to college. The world has changed. Look around. Look around. People have no idea what's about to come. They have no idea what's coming. The things that are coming, you're not ready for. Your job is not guaranteed. Your boss thinks the same way about you, like I just described my old boss when I was a young man. They're not going to tell you because they can get a lot of trouble today where, back then, a lot of things, you can get away with a lot of things back then. But I was taking advice from a guy that went to college, graduated a very high GPA, business management, a math scholar, but he was managing a Kentucky Fried Chicken. KFC. Yeah. Here's my uncle, the guy I learned about trading from, who couldn't make money outside of the first initial plunge into it, where he made money to buy a condominium down in Ocean City in Sugar. And he told me when I was 15 years old and 16 years old, every Sunday at my grandmother's, the richest people in the world, Michael, trade futures and options. Get yourself a good job, become an electronic technician, save up, invest, and live like the fat cats. But I looked at my uncle that day and I told him, I said, can I tell you something? And I want you to know that I'm saying this with love, and I just want to know things better. But how I feel knowing that you wasted 6 years of your life in college, and all the bullshit that you subscribed to and the books you paid for, all that prep work, all that stress and crunching numbers, all that stuff. And you're working at Kentucky Fried Chicken, managing kids that don't want to come to work. And then you got to stay and do their job. So college is a fucking scam. It's a scam. You will not go to college now, get a career, making a high degree of income with a great degree of consistency and longevity, because your business is not guaranteed to you. What did 2020 show you? The rules have changed. So on Saturdays, I take a drive and I get to reflect on the choices I made, just like I tell you to on those community posts. You got to look back and think, where have you been? What are you doing right now? Where are you heading? Are you still on task? Have you lost your bearings? Are you lost? Do you even know what you're doing? Did you even do anything last week that contributed to growing? It's not just watching videos. It's not looking at tweets and community posts. It's you rolling your sleeves up and getting out there and getting dirty in it, doing it wrong, and learning from that. That's the part that I thought was the prevention for me. Like, I looked at it like, I'm never gonna get this. I'm never gonna get this. And my aunt would come in and knock on the door and hear me weeping in there. Like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm just frustrated. What's wrong? You won't understand. And she wouldn't have. Even my uncle wouldn't have understood. Because I was trading my money, doing trades that I could not really realistically afford. And when they went bad, they were bad. But when they were good, I contained that. And I kept telling myself, this is how you keep going. When they look at you, and they look down at you, and they think that you're a friggin' bum, that you're never going to amount to anything because you live below your means, guess what? They don't know the real you. They can't see the real you. The real you is that person that knows that you don't have it yet right now. You know it right now. You don't have your power to do it yet, but you know you're getting there. And you're not going to take no for an answer. You're not going to be right. No one's going to convince you that you can't do it. No one's going to sell you an idea that's going to distract you and prolong the process. You know that you know that you know. Once you get that mindset, that's what's needed. You need to be doing that. Once you arrive at that point, it's just a matter of time, folks. It's just a matter of time. And how much time is it going to be? I don't know. Because everybody's different. But I can tell you, I had a plan that I did not want to be working when I was 40 years old. So I was willing to give up at that time half of my life to get to where I wanted to be at. And where I wanted to be at was financially independent. And I started with trying to earn and save $1,000 a month. And folks, that shit got real easy. Real easy. And then when you start getting these mile markers, you don't need cheerleaders around you. You don't need anybody to tell you, that a boy, that a girl, you're going to do it. Keep doing what you're doing. Because your bank account tells you that. Your bank account tells you, you're doing shit right, man. Who cares who believes you? Who's going to convince you when you got millions of dollars in the bank? Who do you need to tell you that you finally arrived? You need somebody to talk to you? You need Tony Robbins to talk to you about how you're doing a good job? You got 7 digits floating around in multiple banks. You need Tony Robbins to tell you you're doing a good job. No. You don't need that. All you need to do is show up. Put the work in and do it consistently. If you do that, look around, folks. These people that are just now discovering themselves in what I'm teaching, nobody's going to convince them otherwise now. They tasted it already. They've already tasted it. They know what it feels like now. No one's convincing them otherwise. They're never going to be told what they're doing is the wrong way now. All I've ever invited everyone to do. If you do that, I promise you, I guarantee you, you will never, ever, ever, ever put this down again. Because once it bites you, you're infected. You just accept it now. It's a way of life. These markets are in your blood. And guess what? Some days, it ain't right. Many of you are absolutely you're gonna find that this is the most impossible thing for you to do. And it's impossible for everybody in the beginning until you get that mindset I mentioned earlier, where you know what? Nothing's gonna deter me from doing this. I know it's gonna feel like I wanna quit sometimes. It's gonna feel like this is a bunch of shit. I can't do it. I can't learn this. I'm frustrated. It didn't do what I want. I don't even know what the hell the bias is. Everybody's asking all the time, bias, bias, bias. I'm teaching you by doing it with you. I'm showing you. I'm teaching you how to avoid when you're going to blow your account. I know that intimately. I did a lot of that in the 90s. I got no problem telling you. I got medals. I got purple hearts, okay, for blowing out accounts in the 1990s. I did it in stunning fashion. It was style. I did it live in a truck, working 13 hours a day, driving with my left foot laying on the steering wheel, going over the T-bridge. High winds. That's like trading full margin, no stop. And that's how I was trading market. Crude oil market, gold, futures. I was doing all that stuff. And losing my ass the whole time doing it. Well, blew that account. It's going to take me 6 weeks to save up another amount to get. But guess what? Nobody could have told me ever that was a dumb decision. Because I knew in my heart, I have tasted what it feels like to win. And those wins were more than my monthly income gross. Let that bug bite you. And it'll never leave you alone. It'll never, ever leave you alone. So you might as well just roll your sleeves up. Accept the fact that it's going to take some work. It's going to take some effort on your part. Put in the time and the work. Defer all your weekend warrior stuff that you want to hang out with your buddies and go out with your girlfriends and go buy what's on sale. Stop all that. Invest your time and your money in yourself. Because I'm telling you right now, there isn't anybody, I don't know anybody that went to college that makes as much money as I have. I don't know anybody like that. College didn't do that for them. Now, business owners, yeah, that's the way you do it. But employees, my opinion is, even an average, consistently profitable trader will slap the money bags out of the best of any employee of any company. Because you're not limited. That company says how much you're going to make. You're an employee. You're subservient. I'm not subservient to anybody. Lord. But outside of him, I ain't got to listen to nobody. Nobody tells me what my schedule is. No one tells me what I can and can't. Nobody puts a limit on how much I can earn. And folks, listen, I got out of the teaching business, but I could roll right into a signal service right now. I'm not going to, just so you know. But if you learn how to do this, you don't need to have money to do it. You don't need to learn the skill set and then prove to everyone online that you can do it consistently. I guarantee you, they will throw money at you. They will throw it at you if they could just watch what you're doing beforehand. But the skill set, once you know it, folks, listen, man. This is not pipe dream. This is really real. You can sit in front of a chart, determine where it's going to go, where it's not going to go, and it delivers consistently. That's a skill set very, very few people can do on this planet. Even the folks that are outside what I teach and they're consistently profitable, you have a system. You know that you are part of a society that is so minuscule. We're like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and gentle ladies. You get rich when you don't try to get rich. When you do something with with passion, that you want to do well because you enjoy it and you love it, you need to make trading like that. And that starts by doing analysis and loving the analysis, back testing, reading price charts, and just pouring over top of it and not finding anything else that would be more interesting except for your relationships, because they're important. You got to balance that.